Okay, Unit 9, Section 2. If-then statements. Okay, so this is more logic, reasoning stuff. So we're going to talk about if-then, converse, inverse, and contrapositive. So we want to rewrite each statement as directed and then determine if the statement is true or false. So before we write these, let's get some notes so you know what you're doing. So first we have if-then. If-then is simply a statement where you have a hypothesis, the first part, and a conclusion is the second part. So the way we would normally write this, in short terms, you would say my hypothesis, so if some statement P is true, or if some statement P, then some statement Q. And of course, you determine if it's true or false. So the first part, P, is the hypothesis. The second part, Q, is the conclusion. Okay, the second one, we have converse. So converse is I switch the order. So instead of P, Q, I would write Q, then, so if Q, then P. That's converse. Inverse. Inverse means I'm going to take the first if-then, the PQ, and I make both statements the opposite, or not. Another term we use is negate. So you negate something, you make it not true, or make it the opposite of what it is. So the way I would write that is I would do not P, if not P, then not Q. And then the last one's contrapositive, which if you see the pattern, maybe you've already figured this one out. I'm going to do the converse, so I switch P and Q, and I also negate both. So I would do if not Q, then not P. So if then is just PQ, and again, these are just statements. So if then, if statement A, then statement B. Converse, I switch them. If statement B, then statement A. Okay, inverse, if not statement A, then not statement B. And then contrapositive, if not statement B, then not statement A. Okay, now that might not make a whole lot of sense just from there. If you need to, go look at my notes. I'd explain it a little more, I guess, in words. That might help. Or we can just do the examples, and that should help also. Okay, so let's do the first one. So I have my statement. I slept all night and I wasn't tired. So for if then, let's say our P and Q. Okay, so we have I slept all night. Let's say that's P. That's our first one. I wasn't tired. That could be Q. Okay. So if then, I'm going to do P, then Q. So the way I would write that is if I slept all night, so that's if P, right? Then I wasn't tired. So if P, then Q. If I slept all night, then I wasn't tired. Okay, now you got to figure out if that's true or false. So here's how you do that. You have to think, is there ever a time where I did sleep all night, but then I was tired? So you flip the second part. And if there's ever a time where that is true, then it's false. I know that might sound confusing. So you can say, if I slept all night, I wasn't tired. Okay, that's generally true, right? But is there ever a time where I slept all night and I was tired? Well, sure. That happens all the time, right? You can sleep all night and still be tired, especially if you have chronic fatigue or some other illness or something like that, which is very common. Again, we don't want to, and when we do this, you don't want to think of very, very specific to one person kind of thing, or something that almost never happens or can't ever happen. You got to think of something that generally could this happen? Could this be different? So if I slept all night, then I wasn't tired. Okay, yeah, that's mostly true. But if I slept all night and I was tired, that is also true for a lot of people. Okay, that's not very specific to one person. That's a lot of people. A lot of people sleep all night and they're still tired. So for that reason, because you can say, if I slept all night, then I was tired, and that's true, this statement is false. Okay? That's if then. Okay, let's go over to converse. Converse, remember I switched P and Q, so I'm going to do Q first, then P. So the way I would write that is my Q is I wasn't tired, so if I wasn't tired, then I slept all night. Okay, that's my converse statement. If I wasn't tired, then I slept all night. Okay, so to say, if I wasn't tired, I slept all night, that's generally true for most people. But can you say that if I wasn't tired, then I didn't sleep all night? So if you didn't sleep all night, you were awake all night, and you weren't tired. That's typically not going to be true. So for most people, again, very specific individuals might be the exception, but we aren't looking for exceptions. We're looking for general things, right? But I guess you could say there are probably quite a few people that they don't sleep all night. Maybe they sleep for a couple hours. They stay up till 1 or 2. They wake up at 6 or 7. So they're not sleeping all night, but they're just not tired. So I guess that would still be false. So I can say, if I wasn't tired, then I slept all night. Okay, for most people that's true. But for a lot of people, you can also say, if I wasn't tired, then I didn't sleep all night, because I only slept for a little bit. Or I slept on and off here and there, or I woke up in the middle of the night and was awake for 4 hours and went back to sleep, what have you. So we'll say that's false. Okay, so that's if then and converse. Now we have inverse. Inverse. Now we take the if then right above and we do not P, then not Q. Okay. So now instead of saying if I slept all night, you put if I didn't sleep all night. And then, so I'm making Q not, the opposite. So instead of saying then I wasn't tired, you say then I was tired. So if I didn't sleep all night, then I was tired. Okay, that's typically true for most people, but if I were to say if I didn't sleep all night, then I wasn't tired, again, that's true for a good number of people. That's not too specific, so we'll say that's false. Because some people don't sleep all night and they're still not tired. That's okay. That happens. So we'll say it's false. Okay, don't worry, we'll see one that's true here in a minute. Alright, contrapositive. I'm going to take the converse, so Q then P, and do not Q, then not P. So the way I write that, instead of saying if I wasn't tired, I would say if I was tired. So you make it the opposite. And then instead of saying then I slept all night, then I didn't sleep all night. Okay. So, if I was tired, then I didn't sleep all night. Okay, that's typically true for most people. But can you say if I was tired, then I did sleep all night? Well, yeah. I mean, again, a lot of people are like that. They can sleep all night and they're still worn out when they wake up. I mean, some of y'all might be like that. I don't know. So that's typically true. That's true for a lot of people. So because I can switch the end and it's still true either way, this statement is false. So all four of these were false, and that's okay. That happens. Okay, so let's do another example right here. So I have two of these. So let's do this next one. Alright, so we have our first part, I have access to a phone. That can be our P. And the second part, I can call people. That can be Q. Okay. So, if then, number one, on this example, we'd have P, then Q. So I would write if I have access to a phone, then I can call people. Okay, so if I have access to a phone, then I can call people. That's true. But can you say if I have access to a phone, then I can't call people? That is also true. Just because you have access to a phone doesn't mean the phone works, right? So this, because that's I can change the end and it still be true. This statement is false. Because you can have access to a phone but not call people, like not be able to. That happens. Your phone doesn't work, your phone's dead, no service, whatnot. But you have access to a phone. Okay, so converse, let's switch those. So we do Q, then P. So I would write if I can call people, then I have access to a phone. Whoa. Okay. This statement, if I can call people, then I have access to a phone. That's true. But can you say, if I can call people, then I don't have access to a phone? Well, that's not true. There's no way that's possible. You can't say that you can call people, but you don't have access to a phone. That would not make any sense. That would never work. Okay, so for this one, because I can't change the end to make it true, this statement is true. The only way it works is to say, if I can call people, then I have access to a phone. Because I can't ever say, if I can call people, then I don't have access to a phone. That never works. So because I can't change it, this statement as it is true. Okay, so there's a if then and a converse. Now we have two more. Inverse. So inverse, I'm going to take the if then and negate both statements. So I have not P, then not Q. I don't know why that's red. Okay. Now we're going to right? So instead of saying if I have access to a phone, if I don't have access to a phone, if I don't have access to a phone, then I can't call people. And now we gotta figure out if that's true or false. If I don't have access to a phone, then I can't call people. That's typically true. Can you ever say if I don't have access to a phone, then I can call people? No, that doesn't make any sense. If you don't have access to a phone, there's no way you can call people. So I can't change that, which means the statement as it is true. Because the only way it works is to say, if I don't have access to a phone, then I can't call people. I can't do it any other way. So that's true. Alright, last one. Contrapositive. I'm going to take the converse and negate. So I have not Q, then not P. Instead of saying if I can call people, if I can't call people, then I have access to a phone. Now I'll say then I don't have access. And now I'd figure out if it's true or false. If I can't call people, then I don't have access to a phone. Okay, that's true, right? But if I change it, if I can't call people, then I do have access to a phone. Okay, we already established that you can have access to a phone and still not call people. So I can change it up and still be true. So this statement, as it's written, is false. And those are my two examples. Again, I would definitely practice writing these. This is on the test. It's not really something that if you've never done this before, I would definitely practice. Please practice. And again, if you need more explanation on the if-then, converse, inverse, contrapositive as far as words, then I would definitely go look at my answers to my notes, because I actually type it out in sentences. Maybe that will help if the examples didn't help enough. All right.